What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This one is going to be a video on just how you can add any indicator you want to your strategy and how you can get the values from those indicators and use it in your strategy. So first thing you want to do, come to New, Ninjascript Editor, and we are going to create a new strategy. So we'll name it using indicators. We're going to generate it and then compile. Let that compile real quick. Then I like to use Visual Studio. Since we have this opened, we can go to Strategies and open up this strategy. So now you have the basic template for every single strategy. So when you want to use an indicator, there's a couple things you need to do. First, you need to basically, not really sure the right name or how to describe it, basically like tell the strategy you want to save space for this indicator. Basic, I mean, I think it's called creating an instance, not really sure. But, so like for this example, we can just, use, we'll do RSI and SMA, because every other indicator is kind of, I mean, most indicators are either an oscillator or some type of thing that you're plotting from the price. Um, where's SMA? Or actually, yeah, we'll do Bollinger. So these are the two indicators we're going to use. So the name of the indicator is always going to be the class. So we have Bollinger and we have RSI. So to tell our strategy we want to create those, we're going to do RSI and then we're going to name it. So this is just telling the strategy where to get, what to save kind of. And this is what we're going to name this. So think of it as like once we put this RSI onto this chart, this is one object of an RSI, and its name is RSI, so that's how we can use it. And it's going to be the exact same for Bollinger, which we'll just name Bull. And this is how you'll load any indicator. You put the name, and then what you want to name it. Next, we're going to go to data loaded. So after we have all our data loaded, this is what the code that will run next. So now we have the object of our indicators created, the space that we want to hold for them. Now we need to fill it with the actual data. So to do that, this is the one that we have. We're going to do RSI. And now, if you're using any of the pre-built ones or any good built ones, it will tell you what the inputs are. So this is the exact same as when you're loading it up on a chart. Basically right now what we're doing in the code is coming to RSI, and we're adding a period and the smooth, and then here's the input series. In this case, yeah, I don't think you can change it, right? yeah, in this case it's linked to this chart, the 1 minute MNQ chart, but in other cases you can change it to whatever. So by default, it will just be whatever the chart that you're loading it up on is, the data series. But you can also add your own. So you could do highs, you could do closes, and actually I'm gonna show one more thing with SMA. So we're gonna SMA, SMA. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna create it with our inputs. We're gonna do RSI period and RSI smooth, RSI smooth. So here you could just put the numbers that you want, but we are gonna make this a little nicer and make these as inputs. So, something like that. Name equals RSI period. Then integer RSI period. There, now we have that. Now we're just going to copy this, paste RSI smooth, RSI smooth. So now, on the strategy loads up, you can input what you want these values to be, which then just plug in right here. You probably will want a default. So that's where you come up to set state equals state.default, and we just do RSI period equals 14 and RSI smooth equals 3. So those are just the same defaults. Now we want to plot it, so we just call add chart indicator, and that's it. Now we have our RSI exactly as if we loaded it up on the chart like this, but our strategy is going to have all the data in it. So now let's do the same thing for Bollinger Bands. Bollinger equals Bollinger, and same thing. Here you could do a different data series, or just here do this. So we have num standard deviation, and we have Bollinger period. Now do the same thing here. Name this Bollinger standard deviation, which is num std dev, and then this is Bollinger period. Full period. Now we have those. Now same thing here. We want to add the defaults, which what is it usually? Like 2. Bollinger period. We'll do 14 as well. Now let's add the chart indicator. No, we just add bold because that has all the data for it. Now here is where you can start doing something differently. So our SMA, we're going to do SMA, but instead of doing, so by default, it's just going to take the closes, all the close of the data series wrong. So in this case, MNQ 1 minute. But what we can do is we can take the RSI, and now a separate period. So now instead of creating the SMA based off the closes, we're getting it based off the RSI. So this is going to create a moving average for the RSI. So if we did like the 14, it'd be like, something in here moving up and down. So let's also add this. And for any of these, you can add, RSI here for the standard deviation. You can add any different data series into here, which is what all of these are. These are all data series. Now let's also add chart indicator, SMA. Alright. Add SMA period, maybe 14 as well. So now we have everything loaded. If you're in Visual Studio, you can do Control S, and that will compile it. But if you're not, then in here, you just press compile. Once you hear the chime, that's how you know it's compiled. So, now let's load up the strategy. So we'll come to strategies, using indicators, add it, and see now we have all our defaults. Our estimate period, we did not put a default. And now we're going to enable it. Alright, so this is kind of the issue I was expecting. Our SMA, oh, it even shows it. But our SMA is based off of the RSI. So, see, the value is 43, which makes sense because SMA, the 14 moving average right now is 43. But it's plotting it on the other chart with the other ones, with the Bollinger and the price, which are at 20,000. So that's why it's like this. So we need to get this SMA onto this plot. So I actually don't know how to do that. Let me figure that out real quick. Alright, so getting this to plot on the same, to get it on the same plot is actually kind of a pain in the butt. And, you don't really need it. Would have been nice if I could have gotten it real quick just to show you guys, but it takes some different stuff. Like, basically takes all this stuff. You need to add plots and set values, and kind of just a pain in the butt and a little more advanced. So instead what we're going to do is we're still going to create the indicator, but instead of plotting it, we are just going to put the value, and we're actually going to do draw text fixed. We're going to just be printing the value in the top corner so that you can see what it is if you need to use it. So to do that, we're going to do draw.textFixed tag. We just name this whatever. This is just the name for it. Let's do text. Then what we want to print is that, and then text position dot top right. So when we compile this, we should get all our indicators and the data loaded. And a sneak peek is this. It's how we are getting the most recent value. So here we go. Yep. We have our RSI, our Bollingers, and now we also have this. So as a new bar comes, which should be in 15 seconds, this will update to the most recent SMA value. So you can see 52.16 would be, yeah, like right here, which makes sense. There we go. Now it's 53. But here's a sneak peek of how you can get the most recent value of any indicator. So to do that, basically, like as you can see here, you take the data series and you just put the 0, which is another thing with all data series is, say you want the high of the most recent bar, you just do high 0, low, low 0. Those are data series as well. Here we have RSI 0. You can do RSI 10 for 10 candles back. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what the number means. How many candles back, and it starts at 0. So SMA 0 is the most recent candle. 10 is 10 candles back, and yeah, that's how that works. So let's just do a real quick, just way to prove it, or just quick little example. We'll do if. Okay, yeah, another thing to show. So if close 0 is less than, so we're gonna do if we close below the Bollinger Bands and the RSI is closes below the 30, then we are going to buy. So to get the lower Bollinger, we do bull dots lower and then 0. So our Bollinger Bands right now is storing 3 values, the mid, high, and lower line. So when an indicator or any data series has more than one value, you do dots, and that's how you can get other values. So if we do bull 0, that would have, oh, it does work? That's probably just the middle line. That's what I'm going to guess. But if you do bull dot, and then also here you can see middle. I'm not sure why all these other ones are here. I thought it'd just be the actual ones that will plot data, but we're going to do lower 0 and our psi 0 is less than 30. Then we're going to enter long. Then we're also int bars in trade. We're just going to exit after 5 bars in trade. So bars in trade equals 0 here. And then we also here we want to do bars in trade plus plus. That's just going to add 1 every time this line is called. Now, else we're going to do the opposite for sells. If the close 0 is greater than Bollinger upper most recent, and our psi 0 is greater than 70, then we enter short bars in trade equals 0. So that's our entries. Now, to close, we're going to if bars in trade greater than or equal to, we'll do close bars, then we exit long, exit short. Now let's add close positions after n bars. And our default we will set is 5. Alright, so let's compile this and make sure it's working. So basically, all we're doing is that we're low, we're going to buy, and we're high, we're going to sell. And after 5 candles, then we close our position. So let's see how it works. So here, yep, we close below. Below 30, we buy. So we bought here right at the beginning of the candle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we closed. Bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, close after that. And yeah. So yeah, these are actually wins a lot of trades. This is just a very yeah, it actually made money. I mean, not very good, but like it's just a very, very basic way to create a strategy. And yeah, you can use this for a lot of different things. You can get different data values from using different SMAs at different data series. And yeah, like I mean, it's kind of a basic way of creating a strategy and testing an idea. And to edit anything, you have all your inputs here. You can go to strategy to analyzer and optimize all of them, see what works, see what doesn't, modify it. And with just a very simple code, you have a working strategy. So hopefully the strategy or this video also was useful for you and you can take something from it. So please like, subscribe. I'm about to hit 100 followers or subscribers, so that's pretty cool. Check out the Discord. I am working on something else in there that I think is pretty cool. We're going to be going over academic papers, and like those papers are basically using hedge fund type strategies and trying to see if they're proven to make money or not. I mean, it's pretty confusing, so we'll see if we can get anywhere with it, but I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, please like and subscribe, share if you want, and let me know what do you think. Take care. Peace.